Hey, holographic speed painter guy. Um, Nephew director Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs. I want to give my verbal thanks. This is a congratulations to Star Trek. Gaia, Data, Picard, Crusher, Wesley. All of you had a huge impact on my senses of personal responsibility, freedom, how to. Star Trek was about people handling new circumstances way out there, and it was inspiring. Yeah, definitely helped shape how I think about life and how I respond to it. Um, I definitely feel like I was a more interesting person for having known it. I feel like I was a better social person. Worf, I love Worf. Worf was sad. Worf had a lot, like, it, for a while, anything Worf said was wrong. Every time Worf was like, we'll ram it. No, it's not the time to ram it. I think that was like racism. So I would love to have like uh, if I was writing Star Trek now, I would have like a Klingon revival. I thought Worf in the Batleth was cool. Worf had a few things with like his son, I think, or a kid he had an influence on. I thought was really good. Um, yeah, I loved Star Trek. First Contact was great. I think it's like Jodie Foster's Contact was also really good. Yeah, I loved movies when, as a kid without much personal freedom, Star Trek was a great opening for my mind. And I definitely appreciate that it's FUBU. It's made for us by us, I assume. I would be interested in hearing if there was any weird overreach, like the secret script that had bizarre themes and no one really knows who wrote it. I would want to know about that. But yeah, who's it? Geordie LaForge, reading Rainbow Guy, good man. Yeah, I love seeing. Yeah, I've never been to a Star Trek con. I've never also really like. I've tried to connect with Trekkies, and it's kind of like a weird ego overlap. It was like harsh vibrations, but I definitely think that as a for us by us production is set a precedent for the future. I mean, can you imagine being an actor? So being an actor is only possible post camera, pre AI. There's really you need to be an actor before these synthetic people are just perfect, right? And so, but it was also predating our real like celestial attempts. I think Star Trek's gonna have a huge influence the more out in space we go, and I definitely think that people are gonna have like they're gonna character archetype. Picard was great. Like Shatner was awesome. I didn't get into old school Star Trek. I don't know it. I watched the movies and that was it. I never watched the TV show. So, but Picard was like he was kind of like old school maximum masculine, very stoic, but he had to act in new circumstances all the time. And that was kind of like this key integrity with where we're going, right? And yeah, I liked that. Thought Data, the guy who played Data, convinced me as a kid. Was he a robot? Yeah, he was really a real android. I believed it. So, yeah, Crusher was psychic. Yeah, the set always explodes, shakes, and sparks are flying. It's crazy. Um, yeah, definitely after seeing like metallic glass and the idea that we need like a super hot core to have power, I'm kind of contesting. I don't know if it's that tough. It's like the difference between supreme tech and what's possible is not necessarily reflected by nature. Is nature a high divinity or the creator's own land? Nature's a happening. I don't think mirroring a star is necessarily the quickest route to go. I think you should ask again, like, what's more baseline potential, or even better, tilde key. Like how you could type in God mode cheats in PC by pressing the tilde key, and it has a bunch of things like no clip, infinite ammo, and so you got to think about like secret private access to how the existence works is tilde key access. And so you want to get that for your tech because it's going to be like my art. It's going to be magical. It's going to be easy and it won't hurt or break you or cost anything. Way better than let's put some fire in a furnace and pull power off of that. That's like legit rustic. Yeah, universal rustic is like, let's boil some water for steam. But like, you can make a vacuum and then water boils at body temperature. It's way easier. Yeah, put water in a copper tube, it'll boil at body temperature. So anyway, this is, I don't often like review old shows, but this is what I gotta say about Star Trek. Key really affected how I think about society, people. Obviously, I included more sensual touch in my life later, like being a pickup artist. I don't call myself like, I'm not a swindler or a seducer of women, because I got the clue that if I was to succeed with women, we had to start families, and that's what they really wanted. They don't want a boyfriend. They want to make babies because that's all they have time for. So yeah, definitely the eternal pleasure body would expand your total social potential. And definitely living in space with a spaceship that takes care of your needs would let you breed pretty much without clogging the thing up, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely in favor of it. I thought Star Trek was brave, and I thought Star Trek talked to us when we needed it. How? So yeah, Coneheads has me suspicious because it's like the circumcised are the lower class. There's some dicks that they'll come out looking like circumcision's normal, but not all of them. There's a lot of dicks where the foreskin's like a meaty, pronounced part of the cock. And if you cut it off, you ruin his life. Like kids who bleed out, don't. There's some people who are born semi-circumcised because of evolution, but you're really like, it's an attack on our people by a secret government who hates us. They hate you. If they lie to you to R-word your kids, they hate you. Like, I love cows. Do you love cows? Do you really love cows? You know, I thought like that because of Star Trek. I think so. I think it was open-minded, and doing it with my family was a treat. It was a lot of fun watching together. This affected me too. The Simpsons episode where Homer has the super hot pepper and he hallucinates his spirit guide. That made me laugh. That was funny. That was a great episode. Yeah. I didn't like Simpsons because if you live to it at all, you're going to have a horrible life. Simpsons was an honest way to talk about our real problems, I think. But if you got typecasted into it at all, you were a loser. Just like hurt. So it's a little too poisonous for me. I'm kind of with like, religion says it's giving you good archetypes, but it's not. Sacrificing your body to pay for other people, no. Murdering people because they don't agree with you, also no. You know, there's a bunch of things in religion that I'm totally against. Definitely the camera age has helped now. The age where people can like see what's happening. I think you should unrestrict the ban on graphic content. I think it's poor taste to overly show it, to like shock or humiliate or demean our lives. But definitely, if it's a reality of our existence, you have no right to shield it from us. I don't care if it's a pile of corpses. I don't care if it's a baby screaming. You know, we need to know it because that's how we're going to know it, right? That's how we're going to react. So, to boldly go, to bravely endure, to smartly plan. So, I think our technological revolution the past 100 years is inspiring. I don't think we're off track to surviving forever. I do think that if 1,000 years goes by and nobody's living on Mars and nobody has warp tech, I would take it personally responsible to figure that out. Warp's my idea for gotta go fast. How to go way fast, I don't really know. Do you need to expel a ton of energy? Can you modify how your vessel sits in space so it just slides forward? You know, be fun to find out. I definitely think that me helping with tech directly, micromanaging, is a bad idea. But I think that me suggesting use the Supreme Being, my crayon channeling, is a type of Supreme Being contact that can be like how Tesla saw alternating currents in the clouds. People have wrongly depicted that as like there were clouds and then there's the picture of the alternating current. No, it was drawn in the clouds. It was drawn with clouds. So, yeah, and it's not, he wasn't seeing a vision of his mind. That's what was really there. So, and that's key. That's a huge deal. So I believe in free energy and free tech and stuff like that. But yeah, I wanted to give thanks to Star Trek. I spent a lot of time with it, saw all the movies. I definitely lived in it a little bit in my head. There were a lot of nights I went to bed and I was the continuation of the show. I would put myself as like another character, right? It was awesome. Probably could have done that. Yeah, I almost was an actor, but my dad was like, no one ever made me an actor, and that was it. So, yeah, I'm not for school for kids. I think that the AI should both use like an artful way to introduce major concepts in a smooth way, and it should know when they get it. They got it. Don't waste their time with homework on it. Don't make them do it again. They got it, you know? And then letting kids naturally identify what they're into and then letting them gravitate toward that naturally. Yeah. I'm for kids having access to like supplies and tools, as well as for kids having access to like, why can't a kid play with magnets and copper early? You know, aluminum has a different effect with magnets than copper does. You know, I've had aliens several times go, iron's better than you think it is. Iron's really good. You know, gold is the most valuable thing ever, allegedly. And you always find iron, copper, and quartz together. We know how powerful quartz is. Almost all of our technology has a quartz basis. So, yeah. Anytime there's black iron on the ground, there's gold. Anytime you find quartz, there's gold. So it's kind of a cool trifecta. The gold, the clear crystal, and then the iron dust. That's awesome. That's really cool. Art, yeah. I'm interested definitely other stellar extremes, like what does a totally different pressure and material composition really yield? The idea that it needs to be water and carbon and hydrogen for it to work isn't really true, because if you have a different pressure environment, you have different standards for what is. And definitely the space is the space. Like, how many metals are really just metal-like? And how many differences do they have that are subtle? Right? You have to study it and really look at it to know that this is like this and this is like this. That's deep. That's deep. Or it's an illusion of depth. I've thought of that too. That it's still the baseline underlying is why that variety had happened. So skip the variety and go to the baseline underlying. Yeah. As terrible as circumcision is, if you need permission to not be religious, it's certainly like that. So I hope you give it up. There are some people who have like semi-circumcised dicks by birth. They look like circumcision would be ordinary. That's a recent breed. Because when I got circumcised, I knew I needed to study dicks. And so I went into the, I could become a urologist, I could go to prison, or I could join the army. I was seriously, a part of me was like, what if I just commit a crime and I have to go? You know, like deliberately. Like how people retire. I don't have any source of income, so I did a minor crime, so they give me freaking food. That's sad. That's one of the people I designed the 333 basic income for. Pay you to do nothing. It's the most efficient payout you've ever had. Holographic money, it's a great system. But yeah, I ended up going into the army, and I got to see a lot of dicks and talk to a lot of guys. And I got to talk to like Iraqis and stuff. Iraqis taught me about circumcision and harems. Some people think they deserve 50 women. Some people think that's what they have. So, you gotta look for that. I'll give you people that want to hang out with you. You really are that cool. Like, all these women are like, I like him. I want to be his, mom of his kids. I don't care, as long as you're taking care of them. As soon as they're in a cage or you breed them for that, no maiming the baby boys so you have more girlfriends. That's gross and sad. Uh, Boys, remember what I did for you. Remember that Cain and Abel is dumb. You have a father, you make sons. The automatic war between boys is really lowbrow stuff. You shouldn't do it. Boys have to look out for boys. Because it's you versus aliens. It's you versus the government. You know, the men need to be tight. They can't be like betraying each other. I would rather give up and let you win to have some social unity than to keep pushing it's my way only. Although I do insist on holographic money, just because your ideas previous to holographic money sucked worse, and I'm clearly smart in the integrity of like high efficiency, high output. I clearly have a gift for that. So yeah, holographic money is a great united social system replacement. It is. It'll be cool. Stop circumcising, do some free basic income, put their lives on it. No taxes, no laws. The AI just like knows what everything's happening, because if the AI is putting your life on it, it has to have a full story. And then you have efficient security. Now you don't know privacy. What do you need to be private about? You have the same body everyone else has, the same needs and the same problems. And if you have a problem so big you can't tell anyone, I want to know what that problem is. If you're doing something that if other people knew it wouldn't work, I want to know what that is. I do. I've tried trusting you and it didn't work. So we're going to go with totally open sharing. And the way the AI is not horrible is if the major leaders like invite China, invite Russia, invite Latin America, invite Europe, everyone comes together and goes, how's the AI going to think? And then the AI is kind of the Babel fish, is the bridge. And if you do it together, if you don't trust one person, like Singapore came up with it. What's under Singapore? What does Singapore sound like? Singapore song. Does that mean they're poor? No, it means they're the opposite of poverty. So think about that. So anyway, thanks for listening. This was why Star Trek is awesome. It did have a huge impact on my mind. At-home TV was a way better social life than, say, living in a hovel. You know, so as much as I complained about my life, I know it's better than the mice, it's better than the bears, it's better than the birds. Being a human was really cool with its costs and its advantages. So as much as in the beginning as the word is a lie, it's true for us. It's true that our society started when we could talk about it beyond ourselves. But it also means that as soon as you're imagining things you can't see, like how the Star Trek bridge, offset were cameras. Offset was a backstage. To them, it wasn't as real as real. But when they carefully control what you see, yeah, it can pass off the illusion of really flying through space. So I thought it was fun. I still really want like a Klingon revival. Klingons at their high point were funny and cool, like just barbarians. But on the low side, they were the racist outlet for hating black people, which I thought was sad. I got it as a kid, but unfortunately I lead into it like it's like Worf is wrong all the time. That's rude. Yeah. I'm definitely with black people having like their social coming out in like the 90s, 2000s of like rappers being the richest people. I was kind of with, because I thought it was a huge like flip-flop contrast to just absolutely being dominated and having to do all the work. I felt like they deserved that. But definitely the connection to the pyramids. The pyramids were the biggest objects, man-made objects on Earth until the Eiffel Tower. They were made with slaves. So did white people really come up with slavery? Really? Or is it a secret like black or African warlord calling the shots? I don't know, but it certainly makes like, oh yeah, the people who ran slaves for mining have all the gold and diamonds. I don't own any gold beyond my phones. I have gold powder I put in my food. I think it's real. So I'm not hating anyone, it just is suspicious. Reviving people who were on the L and brought down hard and low, yes, definitely. Let them have ages of coming forward. Seal and what's her name, go for it. Awesome. I definitely love black people. Black people have known me. I'm cool. They like me. My last name's Hate, and they call me Hater. I'm with it. I like it. It's spicy. But yeah. Definitely if they were the major slavers on earth, if it is like a secret African tyranny, then we need to like, because most average our black people didn't win in that. Not at all. So yeah. We definitely can hate it together because I got circumcised. The money's printed or debtor and taxed. I've worked for like no pay. I did months of hard labor for like $1,000 a month. Yeah, it's like way better than I have to do this or I get whipped and I don't get paid. But it still was a type of slavery. And it's the same type of slavery most everyone has to endure. So, yeah, I'm not for automatic wars across countries. Like, clearly, if every group is secretly circumcised, we can assume they have the same master making them hurt each other. So, I don't know anyone who's disagreed with that. I got asked by a few people what I think about Diddy. I want to know if he's circumcised, and I want to know if he was given women from the secret government breeders. Is he that type of elite? I don't think so. Just looking at him, he looks like the winning descendants of former slaves, a little confused and having a party. I would definitely treat him like a semi-victim himself. And if he's circumcised, you can treat Diddy like he's crazy, but he's definitely not guilty of being a horrible person. He's more like wrapped up in confusion with the rest of us. So, yeah, the people I've pegged as like the secret earth enemies are people who breed women in secret, the real slavers, the people who said gold's the best and you can have the debt money that's taxed. Those people are sus. And definitely the way to identify them is they live in underground bunkers, they live in mountain bunkers, they live out of sight, and they have things like private harems. That's the connection. They live in like old legacy, the oldest money on earth. You know, we know new money. Robert Downey Jr. new money, me new money, my family new money. I think Lady Gaga new money. But old money is like your ancestors had gold mines dug for them thousands of years ago. Where do they live? And why don't we ever meet them? That's key. It's like, you know how they don't explain to cows who they are? They definitely don't explain to us who they are. We don't go to cows and go, you're meat and I'm going to eat you later. Maybe every once in a while. That's like how I know about it. It's like shocked people have come forward. But it's like, yeah, the real government's super pedo island. They circumcise, they R-word baby boys. They cut useful skin off baby boys that cause torture and pain their whole lives and lie to them about why so they get over it. And then they breed women in secret and give us tyrannical laws that cause wars. So it really is like the secret on earth is we're not the ruling class. And the ruling class are not aliens either. It's not reptiles. It's like, so I hope we figure it out. Allegedly there's this black satellite in the Lagrange points and nobody knows whose it is. They've seen it. It's buttoned up tight. It's just like this old watcher that they put up there before anyone else was doing anything like that. And if we could figure out who owns it, it'd probably tell us who the secret government is. Is it Chinese? Is it American English? Is it a language? We don't know. Someone has suggested to me that the secret master race speak in plutonic solids, that they gave us cursed scripts that have rules and mutual exceptions. Your, there. It's done on purpose to ruin your head and to make you pay attention to minute details. But their language is like easy to speak, sounds powerful, right? And it's so that they can just dominate and command, or worse, use subliminals. Use things you can't even detect to control you. So it's a big deal. It's worth looking into. Definitely I'm on board with the first people to see through the planet need to tell us where they are. And in the meantime, you should look for like secret logistical outposts. Like, is there a place where supplies go into a mountain over and over? They canceled CERN. concern. So, yeah, I stopped the chemtrailing. The week I accused the government of living in secret bunkers, the chemtrails stopped. It wasn't vapor. That residue shit was mind control poison. What is caffeine? What is niacin? I really want to know. So thanks for listening. It's been a tough subject. Yeah, to the liberty of all. Liberty taught to us to make us excuse things, but really it is like it's something people love. You don't tell me what to do and I can do anything I want to. It's beautiful. It's a nice feeling, especially for a society. But yeah. You're free to agree. It's like how the Bible goes, like talks about free will and then it threatens people who don't agree. The Bible will literally put down, harangue, threaten, and manipulate people into forcing it on everyone and then go, we freed you. It's like, I don't beat kids, but if I really wanted to fuck up a kid, I would kick his legs out from under him and hit him in the head at the same time. Make him flip. Yeah. Go like, a sweep in one direction and a pull in the other. And that's what it's like. Here we're liberating you and then they kick your ass and lie to you. That makes you a slave. It worked. A lot of people still think they're free. You have to obey words or you get in trouble. How are you free? You're not free at all. I love you. I'm making a movie. Yeah, when they pay me, I'll get a real studio. I'll have a real recording. There's a news studio up here. I could ask them if they'd house me. That'd be kind of cool. I might do that soon. At least I could give them the holographic money secret government talk. That'd be nice. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. This started on why I love Star Trek. So, hope you can see how much impact it had.